Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to show you a hidden setting on your iPhone called System Services, which could be using up your data, draining your battery, and potentially not safeguarding your privacy. I'll walk you through what each setting does and how to turn off what you don't need. Let's start by opening the settings on your iPhone. Scroll down a bit and tap on Privacy and Security. Now scroll down again and you'll see a list of options related to privacy and security. For today's video, let's tap on Location Services and then focus on System Services at the bottom of the list. The first option is Alerts and Shortcuts Automations. If you don't use shortcuts or alerts, you probably don't need this setting to access your location. I recommend turning it off. Next, we have Apple Pay Merchant Identification. This doesn't affect the use of Apple Pay, but it does track where you use it and ties it to specific businesses like restaurants or stores. If you don't need this information being shared, you can turn it off. Then there's Cell Network Search. This one sounds useful since it's meant to help your iPhone find the closest cell tower. But in reality, your network carrier already tracks your location based on the signal. So this setting is unnecessary and might be sharing your location with extra networks. I recommend turning it off. Compass calibration is next. If you don't use the compass much, you probably don't need this on. The location services are used even if you haven't opened the Compass app, so you can turn it off if you rarely use it. Emergency calls and SOS is one setting I would recommend keeping on. This allows your phone to connect to a satellite or nearby tower in an emergency, which is important for your safety. Then we have Find My iPhone. If you use this feature to share your location with family or friends, keep it on. If you don't, feel free to turn it off. If you don't use HomeKit for controlling smart devices, you can disable it as it tracks your location even if you're not using it. In-app web browsing can also be turned off. When you click on ads within apps, your location is shared with advertisers, which can drain your battery and affect your privacy. Motion calibration and distance is another setting to consider turning off, especially if you have a fitness tracker. Your iPhone doesn't need to track your location for these activities if you're already using a wearable device for it. Networking and wireless helps with connecting to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so I'd recommend leaving this one on as it can improve your connectivity. Satellite connection is crucial for emergency situations. If you ever need to make an emergency call and can't reach a cell tower, this will allow you to connect to a satellite. I suggest keeping this on for safety. Setting time zone can be turned off unless you frequently travel across time zones. This constantly uses your location to update your time zone, so if you don't need it, disable it to save battery. Share My Location is another one that depends on how you use it. If you share your location with friends or family, keep it on. If not, feel free to turn it off. Suggestions and search is something I'd recommend turning off. It uses your location to give personalized suggestions, but I don't find it adds much value. Turn it off to protect your privacy. System customization tweaks your iPhone settings based on your location. But unless you need it, I'd suggest turning this off as well. Wi-Fi calling is something I use because of poor signal at home, so I recommend keeping it on if you rely on Wi-Fi for calls. Lastly, let's talk about significant locations. This tracks the places you visit most often. There's no real benefit to this, so I suggest turning it off and clearing your history. Once you've reviewed all these settings, I'd recommend going back to the apps section and checking the individual apps that use your location. You can decide whether you want them to track your location all the time or just while using the app. For instance, Google Maps needs your location to work, so that's one you'd want to leave on. But for apps like OpenTable or others that don't need your location all the time, you can choose Never for location access. By adjusting these settings, you can protect your privacy, conserve battery life, and manage what apps and services have access to your location. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks. Thanks for watching.